Okay, here to break down the Class D2 state championship game is Howells-Dodge head coach Mike Spiers. No one better to break down the game, right? I mean, Mike Spiers is a guy that's won 700 state titles and a million games in his life, it feels like. So maybe there are maybe a couple guys better, but you've been in these type of games before and played Wynot twice. So
Yeah,
and I gave him a nice run both games, and so I figured that's why I asked you to do it. Yeah,
yeah.
we'll call it legendary coach.
I don't know about that.
All right, coach. I guess where do you want to start? It doesn't matter to me either team, but maybe let's start with Wynot because you just played them
Yeah.
and played them twice, maybe a little more familiar with them. How do you slow them down? They like to throw it around a little bit, which is a little bit different.
Well, I don't know anybody that really has slowed them down. We were able to hold them to 22 in the semifinals, and we played a lot of man coverage. We're just a little more comfortable with it. A lot of people have played zone, and it seems like they've picked apart zones. They picked apart man. When you go man on them, number 13 Carson Weisler he is tough to cover. Great route runner, finds a way to get open, and then the quarterback is always throwing a really good ball. So covering them it's difficult. I think if you're not ready, then they're going to hurt you with the run game. The first time we played them, they hurt us bad with the run game. The second time we made adjustments and we're kind of able to slow them down running the ball. But then they hit big pass plays. They're kind of a big play offense. So trying to stop the big pass plays is going to be huge for Sandhills-Thedford. Problem is, you can play great defense, and then all of a sudden they hit a big pass play on you, and then your back's against the wall all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, for 8-man football, whether it be 8-man 1 or 8-man 2, a quarterback throwing for over 2,000 yards is kind of a lot.
Yeah, and he's a proven commodity. He's been starting there for a long, long time, and he knows how to run their offense. They do a great job offensively.
Yeah, and we talk about their passing game. They have 3 guys that have over 400 yards receiving, and all 3 of them have 8 touchdowns and 8 touchdowns receiving and 6. And then Zach Foxhoven has 572 yards on the ground, and by the way, he also has 142 total tackles on the year. So he's kind of always around the ball.
Yeah, they have as good a pair of linebackers as we played against, and tough thing is they're all so athletic that it's hard to maintain blocks on them, and they just do a really solid job defensively. We felt like in the first or second time we played them in the semifinals, we were starting to get some running game going, and then had a couple injuries that slowed us down. But they're just difficult kids to maintain blocks against just because of their athleticism.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to their opponent, Sandhills-Thedford. You didn't play them, but you're able to kind of get a look at them and what they can do. And boy, it sure does look like it starts and ends with Kyle Cox, their quarterback, and he's a runner and pretty good defender with 102 total tackles and 5 interceptions. Pretty good player.
Yeah, watching them on film, he kind of jumps out at you, and very athletic kid. They do a lot of good things getting him the ball and getting blockers out in front of him, and they're fairly athletic also. So watching them on film, that's going to be a real interesting game. When you look at their line, they're maybe not as big as a lot of teams, but they're awfully athletic and got some really solid kids. One kid that kind of stood out to me, number 38, Zuttervern. I know that name. That's a name that's been at Sandhills-Thedford before, and that kid looks very good. Their D-line, I thought, looked really good against Johnson Brock, and were able to get a lot of pressure, and that's probably going to be a big key for them against Wynot if they can get any pressure on the quarterback.
Most of the time, and you've had guys like this before, you have one just guy on offense, and when you get in 8-man, if you just got that stud, you just ride it, right? And is that kind of what they do, I guess, offensively?
Yeah, it looks like it. They a lot of time they're in a shotgun direct snap to him, and he's just running a sweep one way or another, and then they'll hand off to have a couple good other kids at the backfield that they can give him a little bit of a break, hand off to him. Then all of a sudden they're going to come out in a spread set, and you know, I don't know how much spread set Wynot has really gone against during the playoffs. Everybody they've played has pretty much been double tight. You know, St. Francis and then us, both double tight teams that we're really not going to spread. So we'll see how Wynot handles when Sandhills-Thedford goes into a spread, because then your big fear is that the Cox kid decides to just take off running, and now you got an athlete out in space, and that's always tough to defend.
Yeah. All right, Coach. Well, I appreciate your time. I'm sure I'll maybe bump into you sooner or later. Maybe it'll be a basketball game up in Howells or something.
You bet.
All right. Thanks for your time, and thanks for the breakdown. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much, too.